AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to Get Down to Business, this show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. And I'm absolutely thrilled and frankly honored to have DeAnjelo Bradley, the president and founder of Chief Executive Officer of Plan Purpose, an incredible organization that is really all about mentoring, all about creating an impact, leading, coaching, and developing. It started in Oklahoma City. Started by an amazing veteran. DeAnjelo Bradley, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Hey, I appreciate you, sir.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure having you on. DeAnjelo, you and I were talking just actually a week ago today, and I've been thinking a lot about our conversation, inspired by all of the amazing things that you're doing. So, as I always love to do with our guests, I love to get to know the person behind the microphone. DeAnjelo, you have a fascinating background. Do you mind introducing yourself to our listeners?
Well, hello, listeners. It's just a great honor to be on this podcast. To keep things simple, I'm a good old American boy. I grew up in Urbana, Illinois, went to Urbana High School, but surprisingly, I ended up going to 4 different high schools in 3 states. So I ended up going to Urbana High School. I went to Lamar High School down in Arlington, Texas, and played football there. Bowie High School, played basketball there, and ended up at Carl Albert, where I graduated in Midwest City, Oklahoma, and we won a couple state championship footballs championships. So I've been around, got a lot of friends throughout the United States, and I decided to go into the United States Air Force. It's been my lifelong honor that I was able to serve the United States military. It has molded me to become the person I am today. And my whole life has been modeled around serving in the fire service and protecting the community, life safety, and having incident stabilization. So with that being said, that kind of brought me on my path where I ended up going to South America, to Ecuador for 2 years, and I ended up being in the Kuwaiti Desert for 3 years. Went to Afghanistan and did the ring route inspections and crew chief duties over there. So I was actually active in over 60 bases over there, everywhere from the Pakistan border down to the Helmand province, up to Kabul and Bagram and Polar Sharkey and Shindad and Black Horse. And I can keep naming them. But I've seen some things, been through some things. Then I ended up going to the U.S. Embassy straight out of Afghanistan, and I worked at the United States Embassy in Iraq in Baghdad in the Green Zone, which is the world's largest embassy. Supported the U.S. Department of Defense mission over there. I was also there when it transitioned into a diplomatic mission. So it went from Iraqi freedom and transitioned to a diplomatic mission with the Department of State. So it's been a pleasure of mine to learn different cultures, eat, pray, and study with other religions, and learn how people in other cultures and ethnic backgrounds live and how families live and survive.
I know that has. Sorry to cut you off, DeAnjelo. I know that has certainly influenced your continued service, and you know, I definitely wanted to mention thank you for your service in the Air Force, and then thank you for your continuing service. Around the world. You just named off just a ridiculous number of places where you've been and where you've had an impact, and that impact has only continued through your work as the president and chief executive officer of Plan Purpose, which is about providing mentorship services to youth in underserved communities between the ages of 13 and 18. And DeAnjelo, I know you are in Oklahoma City, but you certainly have strong roots here in Illinois. So tell us a little bit about Plan Purpose and some of the stories of success that you've had in working within inner cities and some of the mentoring that you've been able to establish.
Yeah, so with Plan Purpose, I thought about it in Iraq. I was in my bed and I said, when I get back home, I got to be able to give back. And that's exactly what I planned on doing. I put my money behind it, put my effort and time behind it. And it's basically exactly what it is. We serve the underserved parts of the community through innovative technology and mentoring. So basically what we try to do is just try to change things up, try to think outside the box and not do things status quo. I've worked with everything from youth that are in the LGBT community that are actually homeless. With CSU Youth, I partner with them. I have memorandum understanding with the state of Oklahoma for youth that are actually adjudicated. So my whole thought process was, how do you stop people from going to jail, getting killed, getting hooked on drugs, actually being on the streets. How do you stop youth from becoming adults that become repeat offenders? Well, you nip it in the bud. You reach out to them in their worst times, and that's how you make a difference.
It's incredible and so important because you're reaching out, as you said, the most important time. And I want to highlight again that age of 13 to 18, which is such an important time. When you're able to really provide mentors, and you have created a training program that supports that growth and development. So, DeAnjelo, dumb it down, down to the basics of what do you believe are those fundamentals? What are some of those areas that you hope to inspire youth with?
It's the basic fundamentals of life. You go to school. I was in high school. We're all in high school. And they would tell me, you do little stories and say, hey, Molly went to the grocery store, she got 10 apples. When she got to the store, she used this much money and did this. I know you understand these basic concepts of math, but at the end of the day, you graduate high school and nobody tells you how to build credit. No one tells you how. You're not taught in school for the most part. Society does not teach us how to survive in the real world. So what I try to do is get people to objectively think, what am I going to do to survive in society, and not only survive, but actually be contribution to society as a person of the community and an ambassador to the community. What am I going to do to better myself and set an example for people coming behind me? So that's what we do. We work one-on-one and say, hey, what do you want to do? We don't force anything on anybody. The program's never been forced. And though we start from ages 13 to 18, the truth is, even when they graduate college, you're still calling me.
So that's so important.
Everything from how to get your first mortgage to apply for a job, how to tie a tie, create a resume, invest in investment properties, build your credit. So these are areas that as adults we learn by trial and error. So why not teach them young? That way they're more successful when they grow up. And at the same time, hey, you still can go to college. You still can get a trade. You can join the military. What would you like to do? These are your options. And then actually just having brainstorm sessions and open lines of communication. Say, hey, what do you want to do with yourself 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, and so forth, and helping them to set those goals and start to accomplish those goals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So started in 2014, and I was just taking notes, and you talked about a couple of interesting fundamentals: educational goals, career goals, professional development, financial planning, even healthy living and sort of dressing for success. And it sounds like self-esteem is really a sort of a theme throughout all of the areas that you're teaching some of these young adults as they turn into adults, and really setting them up for success as productive members of the community. So, DeAnjelo, I guess that leads to the question. I know you're still very involved. I am looking at all of the things you're involved in, both in some of your consulting, some of your work and service that certainly continues. My question is, when do you sleep, DeAnjelo?
I don't. I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I probably go to bed about 1 o'clock, 1:30. I sleep about 2.5, 3 hours a night. The truth behind it, as being a combat veteran, I suffer from PTSD, insomnia, depression. I have my own issues, but what I've done is I've taken the issues that I have and used them to better myself and help other people. So I figure if I'm not sleeping, I can be doing something to help somebody else out. So there are times where I'm up at, I might not sleep all night, but I'm up writing documents or trying to fill in for a grant or updating my program or looking into a case file for a student or even just getting my day plan for the next day.
You're an inspiration. You're an inspiration, my friend.
It's hard. It's hard, brother. It's really hard. I do have power naps at least once a day. I try to take me a 15 to 30-minute power nap, and I do get sleepy, but I try to make sure I balance out and make sure I'm a little more healthier. So my diet plays a big part of not sleeping as much. I have to make sure I eat more fruits and vegetables and make sure I'm a little more active in my lifestyle.
Well, good for you. DeAnjelo, we're just about out of time. I want to make sure our listeners know where they can reach you. I know you're all over on LinkedIn, of course, but do you have a website that you want people to check out?
Actually, no, I shut that website down. I'm going to rebuild it right now. I have another business you guys don't even know about, and I'm also a fire chief.
I know you are.
Yeah, that's on my to-do list, is actually create the new website and update it, because we were working on Facebook, and I just didn't want to use that platform anymore. So I wanted to have a broader presence with
Sure.
what we do and how we do it. So I got off that, and I also shut my other website down. But LinkedIn is the avenue I'm using to promote at this point in time.
That's
in the near
awesome.
future, we'll be
Check out DeAnjelo Bradley. I'll link to you through the show notes as well. But DeAnjelo, thank you for your service. Thanks for all that you continue to do. I hope that our listeners will support your work. And you and I have been talking about some things that you can do in Chicago. So can't wait to have you. DeAnjelo Bradley, thanks for joining me on Get Down to Business. We're going to squeeze in headlines and a quick break. Get Down to Business. We'll be right back.
It's that time of year again.